Okay, can you hear my voice? Let's see if this worked. For some reason, it mutes my microphone when I go live. And it just does it automatically, and I don't know why. But it just has. And it just does it automatically. There we go. I hear me. That's me. Great. That's all I needed. And I'm super loud now because I've been turning it up, thinking that was the problem. I'm gonna adjust the volume real quick because, oof, that is loud. Okay. Let's knock that. Can you still hear me? Let's knock that. Can you still hear me? Oh, sorry, we're gonna get feedback for a moment. Can you still hear me? Oh, sorry, we're gonna get feedback for a moment. Okay. Okay. Great. All right, cool. Well, now you're gonna hear the delay. But that's what I needed. This seems like a better level. As you watch, let me know if it's too quiet, but I no longer can hear myself. I just know that it was audible on the stream finally. So I am so sorry. The last few videos have had no talking, and I've been trying to get that fixed, and taken a few different troubleshootings, and then I thought I was fixing it, but I was doing the wrong thing, but we've got it good now. And so, you should be able to hear me now. And if you can't, well, then this wouldn't be coming through for any instructions I gave anyway, but if it's just really low, let me know, and I can adjust that. At least, that's a thing I can attempt to fix. Alright, so, while I am getting this up on my computer, I am playing on a PS5 now, so that's cool. I've put a few short things up, just getting some of the settings right. My TV has a silly thing that it doesn't let you, like, copy over a custom setting from one channel to another, so had to do it manually, but hey, we made it work. Alright, I'm just putting up the Twitter link. Alrighty, that is up, I am here, stream is going, looks good on my laptop, finally got the colors right on my TV, I think. Should be streaming, so I have it on balanced mode. Just to go into that, I did get the PS5, so I've got it on balanced mode, so you should be able to get good resolution at, like, I think 40 frames. But I think the stream is streaming as though it's 60, because that's what I have it set on. So you should be able to set it to 1080p 60 and get good resolution. But you know what I just realized? If I am streaming, I think the max that you can stream quality is 1080p 60. So I'm going to set it to performance for the stream, since that makes more sense, doesn't it? Okay, so yeah, let's do that. That's what we'll stream it at. We're on custom difficulty, but it's really just very hard with easy loot, because why not? HUD's totally off. I do have audio mix on that. And yeah, I'm going to be doing the Bristleback quest. And just for the little bit, I want to nerd out about something, because I've been reading a book recently called The Making of the Atomic Bomb by Richard Rhodes. And then, like, just nerding out on related topics. So, also, like, reading a bit of... So it goes into some stuff about the Manhattan Project. And I happened to be playing this game just doing photo mode while I was reading it, and I just started to notice some parallels with some of the history there with what was going on in this game. So before I go into that, I am going to come up here and pick up this quest. We're doing the Bristlebacks quest, a level 7 quest in the Daunt area. This is Chain Scrape. Oseram settlement. This area is at the beginning of the game, where you go open the tavern and talk to the magistrate is hanging out inside.
You're in the market for sample there.
What up, buddy?
Savior, thank you for taking the time, and my condolences that you had to endure Ulvund's bloviating.
I've dealt with worse. It sounds like he's really trying to put you over the barrel.
The idea that the Karja purposely let Bristlebacks into the Daunt, it's completely absurd. But the louder and longer he says it, the more support he'll get for his damned concession decree.
How did the Bristlebacks get into the Daunt?
No one knows for sure. The first report of them came from west of the quarry. But unless they have wings I don't know about, I don't see how they could have come over the mountains.
No other way in.
The only way I know about is barren light. Look, if you can get to the bottom of this, I can offer a considerable bounty in return. Help me shut Ulvund up.
What is this concession decree that Ulvund wants?
He wants the Sundom to designate portions of the Daunt as Oseram holdings. Only the portions, mind you, that produce any value.
Let me guess. Because he stands to profit somehow?
Exactly. With the Daunt under Oseram law, he could secure more investment for their numerous ventures.
He can't get those investments without the concession?
No. Not while there's a chance the Sundom could revoke their access. Hence, why the concession is so important to him. And why blaming the Karja for the Bristlebacks, no matter how absurd, works in his favor.
How does blaming the Karja for the Bristlebacks help Ulvund get his concession?
Look around. This may be the Sundom, but Chain Scrape is all gears and rust and bad ale. Claiming that the Karja loosed the Bristlebacks in order to intimidate Oseram laborers into obedience. Well, let's just say no one here has forgotten the atrocities of the Mad Sun King, even with the Valley working again. Ulvund hopes he can stir up enough resentment against the Karja to call for a strike.
And if the Oseram refuse to work, unless the concession is signed, you won't have a choice.
Correct. The reconstruction of Barren Light must continue.
How did you get stuck out here?
I asked for the posting, believe it or not. Overseeing the entire valley on behalf of the Sun King? It was an honor. Is an honor, I mean.
But your job would be a lot easier without someone like Ulvund blasting hot air all the time?
Ulvund's not going anywhere. He's been around longer than I have. Even fancies himself the founder of Chain Scrape. Now, I'll find a way to live with him. I have to.
You said the Bristlebacks were first spotted west of the quarry?
Yes, according to one terrified laborer, said the ground trembled before they came charging down the hillside. He took off and ran all the way here.
Good place to start looking, then.
If you learn the truth, Maybe Olund will stop blaming the Karja for every problem under the sun, and maybe then he'll actually focus on rebuilding Barren Light instead.
Okay. Can you hear me all right? I tried seeing there's a mute button on the PS5 control. Just got the PS5. Had a PS4 Pro before, and so still getting used to the features. This is the first time I've actually got the microphone working on the stream. It automatically mutes it, even though I have that feature turned off. It was still automatically muting it when the stream was going live, and I was like, just couldn't find. It's like the menu is like hidden below other menus. So, yeah. So picked up the Bristlebacks quest, and we're gonna go to the quarry and have a look at it real quick. Which is going down south into here, right outside of town at oh sweet, I'll be able to stop and look at isn't the Vantage right over here? Like right there? Perfect. So on this one, I'm not like trying to like do what I've been doing, which is not using the Countess map at all. So I've been doing that like main story playthrough that's all cinematic or whatever, where I was like not talking or anything. But this is more. I've been reading a lot just because I like to read, and there was something with this quest in particular that related to this book I've been reading that I was. Yeah, was the mic going in and out the other day? Like, could you hear me at all? Because I went to play it back and I couldn't hear it at all. But no, what other issue I was having is for some reason the actual broadcast was just cutting out after like a half hour. 20 to 30 minute mark, it was just dropping. So if that does happen again, like, I don't know. I'm literally on a LAN cable. Like, hardwired into my modem, so I don't really know, like, I'm on a gigabit connection, there's no reason it should be having any issues, so, like, is it coming through alright? I'm streaming on it should be 1080p 60, right, with the higher frame rate, lower fidelity versus resolution, it's the 4K at 30, and then I think balanced is at 40 or something. But and then does the 3D audio, now I've got 3D audio in my headphones, but is it streaming like a 3D audio? Is the mix weird, or does it sound okay?
Oswin Dover told me about. She mentioned there was some kind of relic inside. Better take a look around.
Glad I can help.
Okay, so there is... Oh, is there a dude that's stuck under this one? Yeah, I'll help you. You have to, yeah, that's cool. The adaptive trigger had a little, I keep thinking I'm like, this is a brand new control, it's already sticking. I'm like, no, it's the adaptive trigger.
Just Aloy is fine.
Aaron mentioned you're not one for fancy titles.
You're Vanguard.
Captain's got some business to deal with out west. So we've been cleaning up any bristleback carcasses we find. Didn't want them attracting any of their scavenger friends.
Would have been an easy task too if someone hadn't slipped trying to move the damn things. Scroungers showed up while I was trying to free this scrap brain.
Forgot to bend the knees, that's all. Here, my thanks for helping us out. These should be handy in a pinch.
Thanks. Make sure you don't go, tripping under any more bristlebacks.
Stay safe, Aloy.
So I think, like, for doing the bristleback quest, like, showing, like, the impact of the bristlebacks, I'm just, like... I think this is a really cool example of how, like, they really, like, considered ecology in making this game, because they like looked at like there's another quest in Zero Dawn that's like they're luring a bunch of snap maws into a canyon because they need to get a certain part for it to pay off a debt. But then the snap maws that they lure into a place that there shouldn't be a whole bunch of corpses ends up luring glinthawks, and then the glinthawks end up attacking villagers in the nearby town. It's getting people hurt and killed. And so, like this, it's like they get attacked by scavengers that come to pick off the carcass from this bristleback that shouldn't even be in the canyon. Then it's also, the whole canyon is like covered in all this nasty, gross acid stuff, right? And so it's like just this scar on the land, really gross, ugh, like, and so like, what's neat with that, with this quest, basically, it's like not that long of a story that I have to tell. So this area that the Daunt exists in is, like, obviously if you've never played this game, like, this is like a New Game Plus playthrough, so like, I'm gonna get into some stuff that like assumes that you've already played it, so I don't want to spoil the story for anyone that's watching. But this is Zion in Utah, and so at the mouth of Zion, right down here, this is no man's land in the game, but like, and then they kind of squish a little bit of some stuff together, because by the time you get over here, you are at Lake Mead, which this part of southern Utah is at the Nevada-Utah-Arizona border. You can actually see the shape of Arizona right here, and Arizona's border actually runs through this lake. It's the southern part of basically the line I'm drawing, and so we're actually in Arizona here when you're on this southern shore of the lake. And the Arizona state line actually goes right across Hoover Dam, because this is Hoover Dam right here, which you can actually see when I zoom. Wow, I feel like this is more detailed on PS5, which makes sense. But I just feel like this is way more detailed on PS5 than it was on PS4. Holy mackerel. Okay, have you ever seen this movie? It's got Chandler from Friends in it. It's called Fools Rush In. And there's literally a plot point in the movie where this lady gives birth on the Hoover Dam, on the state line between Arizona and Nevada. And so it's like, it's just like literally right there. That's the Arizona-Nevada state line, and they just put a little like break in the dam on the state line, but that's like literally the state line. This is also where people theorize the Burning Shores is headed, which, following the Colorado River south, would lead you to down towards Yuma, Arizona, and Lake Havasu City, which honestly, Havasupai Falls is down that way. There's also this place called Emerald Cove, which before this game even came out, like if anyone was watching my Ultra Hard Horizons Zero Dawn theory stream, I like was like, oh, I hope that if we are going to Lake Mead area, that like if we're in Vegas, then maybe we'll be in Lake Mead, maybe we'll be down a little south towards Kingman and like Havasu Falls and go to that Emerald Cove. And so I'm like, maybe we will, because the Grand Canyon would be this way, and you can actually see like Humphreys Peak, which is just north of Flagstaff, like off in the distance if you're down fighting this Tide Ripper. Anyways, what I was talking about though is this is St. George, Utah. This is the southwest corner of Utah, the northwest corner of Arizona, and the far southeast corner of Nevada. Where they all meet is no man's land here. This is Valley of Fire State Park. And St. George, Utah is like 150 miles or so due east of the Nevada Proving Grounds, which sits 65 miles northwest or so of Las Vegas. Okay, so if you actually go in-game over here, let's just do that real quick, but you can actually see it on here. Bomb craters. Which, granted, the game has some bomb craters in other places because the war between the machines. But what makes me think that this is actually the Nevada Proving Grounds is, one, it's positioned right above Las Vegas. So you can see, boom, like boom, boom, boom. There's a whole bunch if you go in here. Like there's a little circle here. There's some bigger ones up here. This is basically like the Tonopah area in real life has a solar farm like this with the boiler and everything, but they basically put this one where there's just this really big historic crater in real life. They do kind of like, they move some stuff around on the map. But then if you look down where this Thunderjaw is, again, my theory could be wrong, but just submitting it, like go around and have a look at these and then go look up the Apple II brick houses from the Nevada Proving Grounds where the atomic bombs were tested. And then there's actually a data point here. It's one of the world data points. It's one of the later ones that, these are glyphs, that you would find. I don't remember the name of it, and I should have thought about that. They mention Oppenheimer, who I believe is the man who says, I am become death, destroyer of worlds, when he watched them test the bomb. So there's like that Manhattan Project tie-in, and there's also actually a kind of a loose tie-in to even the, what I was bringing up earlier with Lake Havasu City, but that's not what I'm even talking about in this stream. But this actually, if you look up, so the Tower of London, it's like a big facility that sits on the Thames, but there's actually a story that this parallels of the relocation of London Bridge that actually was relocated to Lake Havasu City, which is just south of the Hoover Dam. So I think if we, but that's, I could go on all day about my Burning Shore theories. That's not what this is about. But just with the other thing, linking the Oppenheimer and stuff like that, like with the brick houses that are probably Apple II houses, that just is another reason why I think that is actually the Nevada Proving Grounds, probably. But so basically what happened with St. George being located exactly along the wind current, the fallout clouds were actually an event to witness. Like, people would get out of school early because bombs were being tested. So it was like 65 miles north of Vegas. You could actually see the clouds rising from the Vegas skyline, like you can see the tall neck rising as you look north, which is kind of like crazy because the tall neck silhouette kind of looks like a mushroom cloud, as does the silhouette of Scalding Spear, which is the wound in the sand. They put it right where an actual like historic crater site is, which is kind of neat. But and then they put a big old field of flowers there. It's super beautiful. Anyway, and then they call out to it with the whole Memorial Grove. But we're getting beside the point. So the clouds would drift this way, and there's a whole settlement thing because people have gotten cancers, and a lot of people have died or they've had livestock with health issues, etc., in the St. George area, because when this was going on, they didn't know yet that the fallout clouds were a danger necessarily. And so people also would be working in like the uranium mines and would be just working around the projects. Basically, it's from this like almost 10-year period or so in the 50s and 60s where like some of the kids would like be like off school early to go out to watch the cloud pass over and stuff like that, just living downwind from these bomb tests. And there's like been some compensation provided to kind of make up for some of the healthcare costs and stuff like that, but it's only like 50 grand. Like, and it's like you have to like be able to prove that you were there during those periods of times and stuff like that. And like there's actually recently been some parts of that have expired. I'm just like recounting some stuff I read from memory. But yeah, it's so this no man's land area in the game where there's this war in the West. What I thought was really interesting is if we look into the actual bios, okay, we're going to pull up Regala real quick, okay? So she is one of the Tanakh marshals, and she's leading a rebellion in the West. And she's stirring up war, and the war that's coming out of the people who are in these lands right here. Their capitals are here, here, and like here. So they're just, this area is rising, and like this is the capital, which is a nuclear crater. Like a marshal for the king that sits on a site where this was a drone, so this wasn't like an A-bomb, but like this is still a site that's similar to that. Ends up stirring up, a marshal from here ends up stirring up war that because of that, there's a site here where they were capturing Bristlebacks, and we're going to get into that with the quest. They're capturing them in here, and that's getting them into these caverns, and they end up coming out here. And it ends up that this fallout drifts from this crater due east into the mouth of Zion, just like what happened to the people of St. George. And like that's the only history part I really had to go into, but just like I was reading this book about the Manhattan Project, and it was just like bomb in my brain, right? It was super cool. And I just thought that was like probably intentional, you know? And I appreciated that, because that's really easy to overlook or miss, and they're not like shouting it, but it's a really cool detail that like they tied in this like nuclear fallout, and you get this like green bubbling acid, just chill working people working the mines, and it's the uranium miners, and it's just the people who lived in and around St. George who are just like doing their thing that end up bearing the brunt of this danger and this nasty, corrosive, weird, new, unknown substance that is drifting east from a war in the West, from this stuff that's been stirred up far west, and just people who are not even involved in it end up getting hurt and caught in the fallout. And I just thought that was a really cool... I could have just made that up, and like someone's just like furiously scribbling notes at Gorilla being like, oh yeah, I totally meant that. But I think honestly there's too much in these games that's like way too intentional for that not to have been on purpose. Like, so yeah, this becomes like way cooler than just acid damage when you think about like nuclear fallout and the Manhattan Project and the Downwinders. And this is not me like being like, oh, I'm an expert on this. Like, I read a book and I'm summarizing something I read once to you guys, but like I think it's just more of a like signpost to like look into this, because it's really cool, and it's easier to understand that through the light of what goes on in this game. So with that in mind, I'm going to play the rest of this quest. This 3D audio is a trip. Like, I've got headphones on and they're like stage monitor in-ears, and so it's like molded to my ear canal, and so it's just already got that ability to like get a really three-dimensional wide soundstage. Because there's like 6 individual drivers.
Were first spotted west of the quarry.
And it's the way
Should
it's
see if
directing
there's
stuff.
anything in the
I
back
don't
of the
know.
valley.
It's just a trip.
Dead bristleback by the falls. Gotta check it out. Looks like it died on impact. Maybe it charged off the cliff up there. I better keep following the trail up. An old mine. And a lot of broken trees. It's like a stampede went through. Is this where the Bristlebacks came from? But how? Unless this cave leads out of the Daunt. Okay, let's see where this leads. The old cart tracks collapsed. It looks recent. Guess I'm not going that way. There's smoke from deeper in the mine. An explosion? Bristlebacks. So they did come through here. Must have got them trapped. I'm gonna have to take them out before I can look around. Okay. Better take a look at where the smoke's coming from.
Oh, look, it's even toxic drifting smoke.
There's a lot of smoke. Looks like the line runs pretty far back. There's enough blaze here to blast a mountain open. And there's a note on one of the barrels.
Oh my gosh. There we go.
Signs addressed to Obernd. Looks like this mine was supposed to be shut down. They must have gotten greedy. Kept blasting deeper into the mountain. I should let Javad know what I found.
So there's that, and then we'll go do that rebel camp after.
Olvin was secretly blasting in the mine, trying to squeeze it for all it's worth. Until Bristlebacks stampeded. Maybe the explosions blew it out of them? From where?
I want to go back there. I think we can on the other side, because there's a box there. We just go around over here. Yeah. Boom. Invulnerable. Barrel. Light my way. So we're gonna go back to our pal in the town, and we're gonna do it on our mount. That 3D audio is crazy. It sounded like it was behind me. Look at this. Smooth, smooth, smooth. That's great. I've never really done like PC gaming, and so I've not really ever played anything at 60 before. Like this. Hello, people.
Nora, if you need shards, there's a salvage operation to the west. You can crunch it.
Good to know. Just so pretty. Look at that lighting. See, this is how I wound up with 30 gigabytes of photos. Oh gosh, okay. If I had a better camera, I'd just go outside and take real pictures of the real, actual, this area of the world, but I don't, so... Like, gasoline. This is interesting, having it on where you can run with moving the stick or with just tapping the button. You really just gotta like let it do its thing and then just like be gentle with it. Just let go and let the game play itself. Look, I'm just directing the camera. So pretty. Ooh, I like the double music thing we got going on here. Alright, off we go.
Thank you. Hunting grounds are open for you.
What's up, Caduceus?
Need something, friend?
No.
Thanks for stopping by.
But that tap the button so that it just automatically soars forward thing definitely makes cinematic flying a lot easier. You don't have to hold down the A button or the X, whatever. What am I playing? X button. It's an X button, guys. You're in trouble, buddy.
Still here, I see.
I'm gonna get you fired.
I have other places to be.
By all means, don't let me stop you.
Alright, just wanted to give you a chance to prop yourself up so you'll be a little more puffed up for us to poke and deflate you in a moment here.
You're in the market for awesome armor, right? Speak to Lara. Bet you 50 shards they get eaten by the ton.
Savior, what news do you bring?
Picked up the Bristleback trail by the quarry. Looks like they stampeded out of a mine at the back of the valley.
The mine? How could a herd of Bristlebacks come from there?
I'm not sure, but Ulvin's workers were using explosives to tap the tunnels inside.
For the love of Dawn, I told him it wasn't worth the risk. Those tunnels, they run for miles underground, even beyond the Daunt. No, you don't think...
That Ulvin's blasting opened up a passage from the other side?
Perhaps. Yes, perhaps. If this is true, we need confirmation. An inquiry. So thorough, so irrefutable, endorsed by the Savior.
All right, I'll keep looking. I need to go.
Of course.
Alrighty.
At the embassy, Bergala's rebels were riding Bristlebacks. If they attack from the north, they might have a camp up that way.
Wait, where'd my bird go? I was hoping I might be able to jump on it, but then I realized I probably cannot do that from inside a city, so... Outside the city we go. Yes, in the main story, I have not done Gemini on this playthrough yet, but that doesn't matter. Because this is not my main story playthrough. Okay, something really cool
Slick with rain.
on PS5 that didn't happen on PS4 is the level of detail in the clouds up there is like, you can, if you ever actually just sat and stared at clouds and how their motion kind of just is like this infinite growth and dissolution at the same time. So that's happening with this low cloud layer up here, and it's super cool looking. That's all. I love that you get this weird tilt shift effect if you are taking like aerial footage, so to speak, while dashing on your animal because of the peripheral blur. On PS4 and PS4 Pro, I never actually played this on PS4, but on PS4 Pro, you can't do that above cities. Just can't handle that much, but it's doing that here, and so I'm able to get this, like, if you ever look at tilt shift photography, and you get this miniature effect, but it makes these look like hyper real miniatures in a way that's kind of like, have you ever played the Nintendo Switch remake of Link's Awakening? Which, like, I shouldn't be cutifying Horizon, because, but it, like, at the same time, it is weirdly immersive. So, I like it. I'm into it. I dig it. Sorry if that offends anyone, but I think it makes the world look more real. So, whatever. Especially with this, like, smoother frame rate. This is awesome. I watched a whole bunch of BBC documentaries, like, nature stuff the other night. Like, Nat Geo, and shoot, I don't even know, man. That was on, like, 3 different streaming services. I read a book that made me really sad, and so I just needed to look at pretty stuff. And, yeah, just, it makes me look at this in a new light, that's all. It's a really pretty game. So here's where we're going. That creepy hole in the ground. They never knew what's gonna hit them. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys decide what weapons I should use and what armor and playstyle. I'm on very hard, but I'm on like a custom difficulty, but it's very hard balance for combat. So yeah, take a moment. Pick. I've got everything. It's all max level. I mean, like, it's your choices. If you guys want to limit me to just doing this with a spear, that's up to y'all. I'll give you a little moment to do that, and I'll just fly around and look at pretty stuff while you mull it over. And, yeah, why not? It's like a level 7 quest. It'll be fine. It's on very hard. I can't up the difficulty beyond that, but you guys can limit me to low-level weapons or something. That'll be fun. So then you just look at pretty things. I just get 60 FPS. I get it now, guys. I get it. Sorry for anything I ever said about people being too, I don't know. I don't think I even ever said anything, but wow, this is pretty. That's the point. This is what, okay, this color right here, that's a real thing that happens, though. When you get just the right level of dust on a windy enough day, and the sunset's happening, and it just turns everything into this color. Everything everywhere, and it's like this, like, golden hour plus plus. And it's not like it only happens in this part of the world, but, like, it happens more frequently here. I only went to a few places, but they were varied. And, yeah. That's just the, like, you guys did an amazing job capturing this. Well, I haven't seen anything from anyone on, can you guys hear me alright? Just to make sure. I'm just, like, rambling and wasting my time. Oh, sweet, sweet. Okay. So right now, just so you know, I'm wearing the North Thunder Warrior. I set it up for this concentration and stamina. I could change to like sneaky and go in sneaky. Weapons I've got right now. Tears of the Land God maxed out with draw speed, reload speed, and then just full damage buffs. That's pretty much what I use all the time. Then I like have these equipped, but I've never even used this yet. And when I say yet, I mean in all of the hours I've played Horizon Forbidden West, I have not actually used a ropecaster whatsoever yet. I've equipped one for the first time though. Progress. I might have used one once or twice. If you might like look through my old videos and catch me in a lie, I don't want to like say I've never, but I'm pretty sure I have not. And then I've got Defiant, Stun Scorch. So I also have these other things. If you think I should wear those instead, you can try it with any of the weapons in the game. Or I could just go for it instead of stalling. Your time to give input is now or never. There's so many of them. So I am going to put on this and go for sneaky. Oh yeah, this is like a new game plus, so I've got all the things. I've got literally every outfit and weapon that you can get, which I don't want to like. Yeah, there's just some. Yeah, yep. There's a lot, and multiple copies of things. Too many. I mean, I've got 1,000,000 shards. It's ridiculous. What I do is like if I'm like listening to an audiobook or like Critical Role, or if I'm like playing D&D, I will just play around in this game farming or taking pictures, or farming while taking pictures because combat shots, etc. And so I've just played a lot of this game, but it's like not like I'm just playing this game, like just I feel like I need to defend the number of hours I spent to this. Like I do other things. I just focus better because I have ADHD if I'm playing this game. Like, rather than resist it, I've just learned to work with it. Keep the hands and half of the brain busy, then I don't end up thinking random thoughts.
An outpost. Away from the main camp. That might be where Regala's keeping her machines. I need to find a way to get in there. I can scan the area to see what I'm up against. And tag any rebels or machines in my focus to keep track of them. first before I can look around.
Look at that helmet. That's so cool looking. Fun. Look at that feather. Like, that looks so cool. They didn't have to go that detailed, and they did. Like, that is so badass. Let me get into it. Freaking painted feathers. Look at that crap. Like, that is beautiful. Well, while we're here, might as well. Yeah, let's go side right. Sweet. Sorry, I can't not. It's just too pretty. It is so satisfying to stealth an entire camp, for sure. Did you just get here, Miss Kiku?
Why did we have to stay behind to guard tame machines? We should be out there fighting.
Someone needs to keep an eye on them. Regala will run us through if we lose any more.
It wasn't our fault. The ground opened up out of nowhere.
Huh. See if she cares for that excuse.
What's interesting is I'm now wondering, like, is this where she got the idea for how to attack the Karus? What if you didn't, dude? What if you didn't? What are we looking at here? We got patrolman, we got buddy and friend.
Shotgun will come in handy.
Probably would. But we've got an explosive charger. What if you didn't, Self? My dude, why are you the worst patrolman ever?
I heard that!
Thank you. It's about time you heard anything, ever, whatsoever.
We missed our chance. They're gone. Orders say we check everything.
Can't take the heat!
Get that intruder! Whoa! Bring her down! Stop moving!
You stop moving, man.
Moving! You shouldn't have done that!
Man, I don't want to break your really beautiful helmet. Wrong thing, but right idea. Come at me, my buddy.
Don't make this any harder than it has to be.
That 3D audio is wild. That was weird. That was great. Come at me, come at me. Aw, buddy.
Pens, not that many machines. Where'd they all go? Better check in that cave.
Okay, one really cool thing on the PS5 that the PS4 did not do. The grass. Whenever I'm walking in the grass, it vibrates. Ever so slightly. Like, it doesn't tell you that you're, like, actually hidden, but at least lets you know that you're in a place where you could. So, that's just really neat. Like, everything's communication, right? It can be. It's been an adjustment, actually, going from PS4 to this, because there's just, I'm so used to doing things off of certain cues from feel. Or audio-wise, but now I'm doing the 3D audio. But that's not like a complaint. It's like fun, because it's like making the game fresh. And that was what I was hoping, taking my time on getting a PS4 would do. And just be like a way of like, oh, I can just extend the experience of things feeling fresh and new a little more. Why not? I feel like, kind of like a small, simple rebellion against the consume and move on. Video games are art. People take years to make these. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just when I was a kid, there's like 4 of us, right? And so it's like, you never just experienced the game once. It was me, I got brothers who are twins, and then I've got an older sister. And we all liked the video games we liked. And like, we had a Nintendo 64, right? Like, between the 4 of us, we had ATV, like, the 90s, like, whatever. So it's like, if you wanted to play, like, someone else also wanted to play, so you had to watch each other play, and then get to play, then watch it 3 times, or whatever. And so, I just used to, like, taking my time.
One half of the bridge. How to drop the other side. Here I come!
You can hear the waterfall vibrating. That's cool. I think there's some more guys to fight inside there. maybe. It's like a handful of these. Alright, is that not an archery? Oh, okay. I like that, oh, I already have that. You can see, like, this looks like the, canister off the back of a thunder gun. They turn into the buckets. Or something like that.
A drawbridge. Might be my way across. There. Bridge is down.
So these rebels are tied to that,
It looks like
they are
it fell into
the
a
storm in the west.
So the rebels are
Blowing
keeping
into
Bristlebacks here. The machines
mouth
fell
of
into the
Silent
tunnel,
Canyon,
which
just
must
like
have collapsed as they ran
Fallout
further in.
clouds.
What if Ulvin's explosives created the sinkhole? I should head back to Chainscrape to let Javad know.
There isn't anyone else fighting here. I thought there was, but no, I think there's just some green shine or something if you go down into the stuff. That's not it. It's in there. I turned myself around. No, maybe there's... No, it is just the green shine. There's no one to fight. You can just see where it collapsed. I wonder if that is where Regala got the idea. See, there's some stuff in this game where, like, they make it missable, and it's like, I almost get mad at them, but it's almost kind of like, I can respect that, like, I mean, that's what I loved about those games I used to play as a kid, where it's like, oh, I missed XYZ thing, gotta get all 120 stars to get the Yoshi trick at the end, right? And it's like, so, for me, it's like fun to replay this to get the different dialogue line or whatever. You know, just, I don't do that with any game though. Like some games I'm annoyed when I have to do that to get it all. But I don't know. I like it with this one, so whatever. Alrighty. So yeah, I've been down there. Okay, there's the way down. You just see that it's confirms the theory Aloy had earlier. Much else. These. I agree. That's what I liked about, like, Final Fantasy VII. Like, there's stuff that you could go back in and find if you need to look for it. Wait, what is that little overthing? Ooh. That hurt. I'm gonna force my way back over here. It just looks neat. I just like it. That's all. It's completely pointless. I just like the overhang. I just wanted to look. I think it's neat playing this. So, like, the first time I ever played Zero Dawn, I just remember thinking, like, there was a part when I was just running through a field just like this, like, with Aloy rolling around, like, being like, this is like the realistic rendered Ocarina of Time that I've always wanted. And it's like just got thinking back to like why Zelda was even conceptualized in the first place. It's like the feeling of wandering around in the wild and exploring caves and like the magic and mystery of like what could be buried in the earth and the stories you tell yourself as a kid and that like childhood wonder was like what they were trying to capture in making Zelda in the first place. And I feel like this game also seeks to do that. And it's like some of the interviews with the devs talk about like that they thought to capture beauty. They did look to nature documentaries and stuff like that when they were making it. And like look at this, like you go up and look at paintings from like Albert Bierstadt, like the luminism movement where it's like the light itself is such a living part of the painting, and like they really like that's a lot of the wonder that's associated with the people that like did a lot of the conservation work in the Western United States, and the art from that period of time, so like the John Muir Trail, the people like that founded national parks, you know, and that's going through the Sierra Mountains, which the game takes us into the Sierras. That's where the Sky Canucks live and stuff like that. And you look at the art from that period of time when a lot of these national parks were created and preserved, the kind of the mindset and the way it was viewed and the beauty that they were preserving. It's just really, I feel like this game did it. Like, and as someone that just grew up in this part of the world, like I just feel like Guerrilla wrote a love letter to this part of the world. The same way that like listening to YouTube's The Joshua Tree makes me feel. Like the Joshua Tree is like these guys from Ireland come over to the United States on a tour when their first album goes big and they start getting a global audience. We had Boy, October War, Unforgettable Fire, and then you get to the Joshua Tree in 1987-ish, I believe. No, it wouldn't be in 87, it would have been Rattle and Hum, so it would have been like early 87, if anything. Well, they were touring for the Joshua Tree in 87. Point being that the Joshua Tree is an album conceptualized as a love letter to the West, but not just the West, but also like a lot of it is specifically the Joshua Tree. It's like specifically that Western U.S. West, but also the West in general, the influence of the world, the good, the bad, the nature, the corruption, and all of it. And I feel like this game kind of does the same because like there's some awful things going on. We see the horrible influence with Parziness and stuff like that, but then it's also like, look at this place, right? So we're seeing like this influence of like people coming in and wanting to put other people out of work just to maintain a grip on power. In the name of safety, they're just really using it to keep whatever they want to in their clutch and stuff like that. And we see the influences of just people caught in the crossfire and stuff like that. And, I mean, some people are really like, this video game, you're really too far into it, but I don't know. Like, just, it's still art.
So you've
whatever.
returned from the West.
Still
Any
art.
luck?
The Bristlebacks were being penned by Tanakh rebels on the other side of the mountains. Ulvin's explosives opened up a sinkhole, dropping them into the tunnels.
Which they followed to the mine and out into the Daunt.
Right. Aside from the rebels, if anyone is to blame for the Bristlebacks, it's Ulvin.
Radiant beams of the sun. And all this time he was pointing the finger at us. Bring Ulvin here. Petra, too.
Petra's name is really interesting
Summoned
too.
like
If you know
a
anything
blast
about
of
the story of the
age.
city of Petra.
You best be meaning to put pen to parch. What? Why is she here?
I live here too, lugnut. So what's this about?
Thanks to the Savior, the sun has shown the truth on the Bristleback incursion. Tanakh rebels were keeping pens of machines on the other side of the mountains. A sinkhole swallowed them, releasing them into the underground tunnels that led east and out into the Daunt.
So it was an accident. But let us not forget that it was the Karja...
I'm not done. The sinkhole only formed due to your unauthorized blasting in the southern mine, Ulvund. You are responsible for the machine rampage, the workers we lost, the destruction the Bristlebacks caused. All of it.
My dear magistrate, has your precious son baked your senses? I would never give such an order without first consulting you.
Evidence says otherwise. Aloy found the shipping manifest in the mine. You skirted the laws of the Sundom, Ulvund. All for a few extra shards.
That stampede crushed nearly a dozen workers.
A lot of good people
My husband was trampled by a bristleback.
I demand an official investigation. I won't be the victim of some Karja scheme.
Certainly. We'll conduct a thorough inquest into everything. Every business deal you ever put your name to.
Well, that's not necessary, is it? What if I just return to the claim?
Oh, well, that would save the crown the cost.
Of course. I'll be on my way as soon as I wrap up some previous commitments, tie up some loose ends. After all, the welfare of Chainscrape's people in a transition like this...
Nope, you're leaving right now. Chainscrape will be just fine.
You think she can run this scorched-out forged dump? Ha! Knock yourself out.
Get out!
Oh, don't want you, don't need down with all
Get off me!
Mud looks good on you, Ulvund.
As the sun burns away shadow. Thank you for that, Aloy.
Well, he had it coming.
Here, please accept this token of gratitude. You've done the Sundom, and my sanity, a great service. And I believe we have some matters to discuss.
Guess we do. Not the most pleasant boots to fill, but I'll wear them. All thanks to you, Flamehair.
So, with that...
Okay. Chainscrape will be better off with Petra in charge.
Just dropped a few little things in the chat. Just links to a little more information on just a random article I pulled up about the Downwinders. That is just actually from about a year ago about some of the compensation opportunities basically timing out. And then just a Wikipedia about the city of Petra, which I think is kind of interesting considering the role that Petra ends up taking in both of the stories. And some of the naming with Miriam, Pharaoh, plagues of Egypt and stuff like that, because the city of Petra itself does sit along like the Valley of Moses and Aaron's mountain, the tomb of Aaron, and so it's really tied with the Moses story from the Bible as well. But it's not just a biblical location, it's like a real place in Jordan. It's like been voted one of the 7 new wonders of the world, or something like that. But it's just really interesting how the city itself kind of stands as this like really significant place, and then Petra herself ends up being kind of associated with like helping stabilize these unstable settlements and just get a new ground on them. But she herself is kind of a wandering force and her own free agent, which like yeah, I'm not going to go too deeply into just like off the top of my like I didn't plan going into talking about the actual city of Petra, so, and most of this has just been like off the top of my head anyway, but just gives me to talk about and think about, and I just like
Wings holding up?
talking about it because it's been fun for me to discover, and I'm like using this as like a if this thought was put into building this lore, then it's just really neat, easier way for me to like remember random history trivia because I just like knowing things. It's just fun for me. It's like a game within a game. Some people decide to speed run. I decide to history dive and science dive, and it's like there's a psychological principle that like the more associations you can make with a bit of trivia or knowledge, the better you're going to remember it. And so for me, it's just like the more I remember, the more tools I have to think about problems in life, and why not? So that was it. That was the point of this stream. That was the quest I came to do. Just talk a little about Zion National Park, Zion Canyon. No Man's Land, which is the real world site of St. George, which is where we saw this incursion from this war in the West that had blown from over the Nevada Proving Grounds area. In fact, let's go over there and just take a quick flight over these. I actually have a video up on my YouTube, but I'll just real quick just show you these things I think are the Apple II brick houses, the bomb craters from bomb testing from the Nevada Proving Grounds, sitting, again, just a little bit north and a little bit west of Vegas. So yeah, that storm in the west, the fallout from the war in the west ends up blowing into Zion, just like what happened in the 50s and 60s with real-life bomb testing. So I could be reading that into the game, or that could have been involved in, but just the Oppenheimer quote makes me think someone must have been reading about it and might have thought of that. I don't know though. That's a guess. And it's like not to be weird, not to be weird. Just I happened to be reading a book about the atomic bomb. That's all. I could be, the number 23, right? But doesn't that look a little bit like a mushroom cloud? I don't know. And the fact that the bomb you get to drop, again, this is not a spoiler-free stream, but you're specifically told that you're doing stuff within a 500-kilometer radius from this Tolnex pass. And it's all the Horuses in a 500-kilometer radius, and then that is the Horus that basically you're directed nearby to get the bomb to drop on the Grove from. Because when you go up here, there's the Tremor Toss patrol in this mountain when you're doing things of the same quest later. And so these are the mountains where like the base of Nevada Proving Grounds is, where they did that. So you can see these craters, and again, it's not the only place in the game that has craters, but again, like, look on an actual map for the Nevada Proving Grounds, and I could be wrong. I'm fully open to that, but I just like, I think it would be really neat if it was on purpose, that's all. And even if it's not, I memorized a lot of information about history, and it just makes me a more well-rounded person, so no loss. But yeah, so that could be the Apple II brick house target. Possibly. Possibly not. I do not know. I do not personally have a way to confirm that exactly entirely. But, yeah. See? Mushroom clouds. Visible from Vegas. Look up pictures of the freaking bomb test. It's a theory, that's all. But on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and stop broadcasting because I'm rambling in circles at this point. So, thank you for joining. It has been fun. Isn't this a pretty game? The end. And have lovely days, everybody. I'm not gonna go and help Soga right now, though. Visible from Vegas. Vegas. Mushroom clouds. And the Grove, basically, like, it does also kind of reference to some of the stuff I think in the Grove, but that's a whole other story. For another time. On another day. I should plan more before I just do these, but I kind of like this rambling. It's a fun vibe for me. You guys like the rambling? Kind of chill. Makes it so it doesn't feel like you're sitting in a classroom. And it's not like I'm trying to like be some like teacher. I just think it's cool. And I like learning. And I like helping people learn. It'd be fun. And I feel like this game is about the importance of learning history anyway. Like fuck said Pharaoh, right? Yeah. So, yeah, like you can see the mushroom cloud rising from Vegas into the atmosphere. Interesting. That is all. Alright everyone, good night.